We are heading to a property that I'm lending $810,000 for somebody to build a Chipotle building in the middle of Glendale, Arizona. Now, I'm gonna make about $155,000 lending that money, and that sounds great and all, but here's two facts I want you to understand from this video. Number one, it's not my money. The $810,000 is somebody else's money, and it's not my project that I'm lending the money on. So think about this. I didn't have to find the project. I didn't have to go through permits or zoning. I didn't have to deal with actually managing a contractor or erecting the building or finding a lease. I also didn't have to bring my money to the table. What I did is I put these two people together and in the process made $155,000. These types of deals are called Gator deals. A Gator deal means I get to take a chunk out of somebody else's project using somebody else's money. The number one thing that every developer, business purchaser, business operator needs access to is capital. They need money. I had a loan that came in today that I actually turned down. So let me tell you the kind of things that I look at. Somebody texted me today, his name is Brad. Brad says, Pace, I run a staffing company. And what happens is companies come to me and say, we need 20 employees to, let's just say, dig a ditch. We're doing a big development. We need 20 employees to dig a ditch. And we don't want to go find the employees and train the employees. Can you go find those employees for us for a 30-day contract? So Brad says, absolutely. But what Brad has to do is he has to have money to pay the payroll of those people before he gets paid from the company that hired his staffing company. So those companies come to people like me and go, hey, I need $40,000 cash infusion in my business. And for you doing that, I'll give you a 20% return. What I told Brad today in text is I said, sorry, Brad, not a good enough return for me. I usually get a 40 to 100% return on my money. Now think about that. Everybody's talking about, I want to be in Bitcoin. It got 33%. Or Open Doors stock just went up 400% about the last year. I'm over here on other people's projects using other people's money, making significant returns. What is my percentage that I'm getting? It's infinite. Because I'm not using my own money. I'm creating money out of thin air. So if I gave Brad that $40,000 loan, in about 60 days, I would get my 40 grand back plus $16,000. That's a smaller type of deal. These deals exist in real estate. They exist in business buying. They exist with a Walmart contract I did. I did a $200,000 loan on a Walmart contract, and I'm getting $200,000 back. 100% return. Again, not my contract and not my money. The person that we're going to visit right now is building the Chipotle. His name is Cody Sperber. Cody Sperber calls me up and he goes, I'm short development money. Okay, so what happens is these Chipotle, this guy finds, basically what he found is he found a Pizza Hut. So somebody like a Cody Sperber, who's a developer, he goes and spots those opportunities. You don't need to do that if you're the Gator. Somebody like Cody's already doing that. So Cody goes and he says, man, I need $3 million to tear down the Pizza Hut and build the Chipotle building. He goes and secures a lease from Chipotle before he builds the building. He already knows Chipotle is going to fill and occupy that space, but he needs $3 million. So he goes to a bank and the bank says, yeah, we like this deal. We'll give you $2,200,000 as a bank loan, but you need to go figure out the other $800,000 yourself. So Cody Sperber comes to somebody like me. Or if I'm brand new, I go to people like Cody Sperber. So if I'm brand new, this is what I would do. I would be part of Gator, because in Gator, I give them access to my money. And what they do is they call public record. I'm not public record. They call the county permit and planning department. And they pull a list of all the permits that are being pulled in that specific city. Okay? So you can see literally every single developer in this town right now, what permits they're pulling and what they're planning on building. Let's say I go buy a building, right? And I want to tear it down and build something new. Get the permit before I own it. I buy it, I sit on it while I'm waiting for the permits. Does that make sense? So what happened is they bought the Pizza Hut building, they've owned it, and they've been working on the permit. So when people are submitting for a permit or getting permits accepted, those are the people you want to call and go, hey, do you need access to capital? I don't tell people, hey, it's my money. I say, I have access to capital. Do you need access to capital? And they go, yeah, I absolutely. Perfect. So what Gators do is they find those people. They're everywhere. Hundreds of thousands of those people around the valley. Imagine like every building that's being abandoned and redeveloped, every building that's being developed, every apartment building, every Dutch Brothers, like every single building that's being developed needs money. Every one of them. You simply tell those people, hey, do you need access to capital? They say, yeah. What do you do? And go, well, we fill in the gaps of what your bank won't give you. Simple. And they go, okay, that's awesome. What's my next step? And all the Gators do is they just bring those people to me. And then I split the fee with the Gator 50-50. I bring the money, I run the paperwork, I do the thing, and the Gator gets half the money. I make it so simple for people when they join Gator. I bring them access to the capital. Now, the other thing I do, because there's a lot of Gators that join Gator and they go, I don't want to split it with you 50-50. This thing I found is going to make $400,000. I don't want to give Pace 200 and me 200. I want all 400. So what I do in Gator is I teach them where I get my money from. And after a couple of months of learning, they now stop doing deals with me, if that makes sense. So you find these bigger deals from Permit and Planning Department from City of Phoenix. That might be a good video for us to do at some point, is how do I go find those video, or how do I go find the Permit and Planning Department? If you guys want that, make a comment down below. And then make calls to those people that are developing and going, do you need access to capital? We should do that as a playlist maybe, or maybe a freebie, something like that. And I essentially pair them up with the money source, and I make $155,000 in the process. It sounds honestly so easy, and it's because it is. What makes us different versus a mentorship or a course is that a course has no support, okay? You're just watching a bunch of videos, that's a course. A mentorship is where you are taught for a little while and then they kick you out after you stop paying. And they also only teach one thing. So a good example would be like somebody teaching Airbnb and saying, let me teach Airbnb, and they only teach you Airbnb. Okay, well, crap. What if I want to get into multifamily? What if I want to get into RV parks? What if I want to get into these other things? Our community teaches all of those things because we are a creative finance community, which means I can do any type of asset. I can do any type of deal. And that means that I can stay in this thing forever and make a lot more money. In fact, I make my money by doing deals with the students, not selling a course, if that makes sense. So that, I would say that's probably the biggest thing that makes the biggest difference, is that the instructor or the leader of the community actually makes his money off of doing deals with people in the community. If you're watching this, I imagine we have a Gator training coming up tomorrow. I would click the link in the description to learn more about where am I finding more of these deals, where am I bringing the money, how can you participate in this kind of stuff. Click on that link, we'll have a live training tomorrow. And if it's not tomorrow, you'll see on the landing page when it's gonna happen. So we'll see you guys in another Gator video.